Hello, everybody. Cindy Daychek with Queen Bee Creations, and here today with something a little bit different. This is going to be a short video, but I was looking to play around with something different. So apparently my little ad hoc device to hold up my camera not working. So let me switch you on over, and hopefully none of you was here at the very moment that all went kablooey. So otherwise, my big apologies, because that would just be crazy making for you. So as I was saying, looking to just kind of play today. And you know, one of the things from a furniture refinishing standpoint is we're always looking for different looks, adding different textures, adding different design elements and things like that. And one element that's been particularly popular, and I'm sure that you guys have seen it on a lot of furniture, where there's a lot of intricate designs, big florals across the front, and they say, oh, it's a transfer. So these transfers, this is a small one. Usually they're huge, but I'm kind of close up and you'd never see it all. These are manufactured transfers that come in tubes, intricate designs, beautiful designs, lots of color potentially. And you peel off the backing, you stick the design onto, here I've just got a board. You stick it on there and it comes with a tool that you rub it on. It's like a rub-on transfer. And then you seal it afterward. So it allows you a lot of flexibility. You can cut them apart. You don't have to use them intact, up to you, but they're expensive. So the big ones that, when you look at some of the big floral displays that are on furniture here in Canada, that's going to cost you about $60. This little tiny one, this is $30. So beautiful, but it adds significantly to the price of your project. Now you can use part of them. You can just use little bits and pieces, allow the transfer to go a little bit further, which is helpful. But one of the things that I was exploring is other ways of being able to get other designs on. And I've done some other transfers using computer paper and things. But one of the things that I heard about is something called a water slide decal or decal, whichever way that you say it, but a water slide paper, which is transparent. Ultimately, the paper, the paper itself is transparent, but it just comes in a pack. It's just looks like paper, shiny coated on one side. Let me pull one out and I'll show you. So it looks like a photo paper, kind of glossy on this side. You guys can see the gloss, and matte on this side. Clearly paper, shiny side, much like a photo paper is. You put it through your inkjet printer. So this is designed for an inkjet printer. You decide what picture you want. So here's the nice thing about this, is that you have complete flexibility over what picture you want to add onto your furniture piece. You can choose anything. You can put a big honking picture of yourself if you want to, but you've got the flexibility of doing it. You're not limited to whatever the transfer design company has come up with. So you've got the flexibility of doing that. So that kind of appealed to me. You put it through your inkjet printer, and what we're doing today, because it really, I don't want to mess up an entirely huge big piece of furniture. So instead, I'm looking to mess up this board. So this is just a cutting board that I have painted in a couple of coats of white. I did a little bit of grain sack stenciling on the sides just to give it a little bit of a farmhouse look. And then it struck me that I should seal it. So I did seal it with poly, just one coat. But because of when we go to use this transfer, we're going to be using water. I didn't want the water to be diluting or messing with the paint finish. So I have it sealed. I can get it wet. I'm not going to mess this up, although really it's just a board. Who cares? but I want to see how this would work on furniture, obviously. So let me mess up the board. Let me not mess up the furniture. And what I chose to do, because this is, I'm going to use it this way, and I printed out a rooster. Okay, so ultimately, look kind of cute. We'll see, kind of a color rooster. So what the instructions say, and I got to tell you, I am not fooling when I am telling you I have never done this before. So I've got the instructions here. We're going to be following them together. I'm just giving you an idea what I've done so far that you really couldn't be here for. So you print it out using your inkjet printer. So far, so good. But the ink is sitting on top of this. And like I said, we have to use water to be able to separate this film piece from the paper backing. In which case, if we just put this straight into the water, all the ink is gonna run off. So it said to take a clear acrylic spray and spray it lightly 3 times. That's what I did. I did exactly 3. I didn't do 4. I didn't do 2. First time through, I like to follow the rules. Then I start to make things up and I go from there. Now, I don't want to apply this whole big sheet because it's a lot more of the clear transfer paper, the clear acetate kind of, I don't know what it is, but the clear kind of acetate part. So you cut out the design, but it suggests, and it says, cut out your design. Do not cut right to the edge of your design. Leave about 2 to 3 millimeters of spacing. So we want to cut kind of a border around our design. I don't know why. just saying. I'm doing it because that's what it says to do. We'll see what it looks like. And I guess one of the questions I have is, I really don't know how thin or thick this kind of the acetate part is going to be. So I don't know on my finished piece how much of kind of a lip there would be on there. So the nice thing about the transfers, when the rub-on transfers that I showed you, is that, you know, when you feel on your piece, you know, those you have to seal. This, I'm assuming we're going to have to seal. I don't know how much of a lip, how big kind of you'll feel the paper or not feel the paper because, hey, it's so thin. I don't know. The nice thing about this, for any of you guys that like doing, would want to maybe transfer this onto ceramics or pottery perhaps, you can. I only know that because it's part of the instructions that I'm reading in front. The treatment would be a little bit different ultimately than doing, let's just get rid of that stuff. So this is kind of what we'll end up with, assuming I can unstick it, assuming I get it to slide off nice and evenly. I don't know. There's a lot of ifs and stuff in my head. So we've got it cut out. You can see I left a little bit of a lip like it suggested. I'm looking at their picture. Mine might be a little bit of a bigger edging than their picture is. But the next stage is to fill our bowl with water and to submerge our decal for 30 to 60 seconds. Now, I was going to turn the camera down so you could see what I'm doing and not see me, but I'm thinking that's going to be a little bit more awkward. So I guess I'm down in my dining room. Let me see if I pop my board up. Okay, you can kind of see that. All right, let me just work higher. So we submerge this for about 30 to 60 seconds. It doesn't say which is better or how to tell if 30 seconds is enough or if 60 seconds is too much. I don't know. So Following that, it says to quickly place the decal in position. The paper backing side is the side you need to adhere to the contact surface. Slide the backing off. It should slide easily. Press firmly, use your fingers, a damp cloth, paper towel, or mini squeegee. I have a little mini squeegee to remove air bubbles and excess water. Pat off any excess water and then let it dry for at least 3 hours. And don't expose it to sunlight. If you do it on ceramics, then you bake it in an oven. Okay, 230 degrees Fahrenheit for about 10 to 15 minutes. Your ceramics are not dishwasher safe. They would be soap and water in the sink. Gentle hand wash. Same with something like this. I'm assuming we're not gonna, I mean, it's a wooden board. We're not gonna be putting it in the dishwasher anyway. But here's my thinking. The stuff that sounds like it could go wrong is that maybe this is really slippy and slidey, and positioning it where I want on the board may not be as easy as it sounds, and sliding it off of this sounds like there's a lot of room for error. I don't know what happens if it folds in on itself. I'm assuming I can't unfold it, and then I'm just out of luck. Yeah, I don't know. We're just gonna have to play it by ear, see how it goes. I have a couple paper towels handy. Okay, so I have a little dish of water out of, oh, and it curls right up on itself very quickly and right away. All right, so I'm just kind of holding it into the water because that baby just rolled right up. And we'll just kind of chat amongst ourselves for 30 to 60 seconds, and we'll see how that goes.
Brad's watching.
So, yeah, I'm just kind of feeling it to see if anything feels compelled to slide. So far, no. No movement. Nothing is sliding, nothing is moving. So we'll soak longer. We'll see how it goes. It's a cute little rooster though, so I'd like it to work. Oh, all right, it slides. I was just playing with his head and I had movement there. Okay, yes, that baby is moving. And just to be clear, it is super thin and it's sliding all over the place already. Okay, so we're gonna lay him in place, but somehow, without causing the whole thing to detach, holy smokes. I'm thinking maybe just try to hold him in place with my entire hand and slide the paper backing out from underneath. Okay, that kind of worked. He's a little wrinkly. So just working some of those wrinkles and air bubbles out. His feet. Okay, so his feet fold back on themselves and we're on top of each other, but you were able to unsmush him. Okay, so that question's answered. And you know what? This is super, super saran wrap thin. That's a trademark. Don't know if I can say that, but plastic wrap thin. So it's very thin, and you do get to move it a little bit. You do get to slide it around a little bit on your piece. So I'm assuming that it's kind of a little bit of a glued on back, and as it dries, that would adhere it to your surface. But what I am liking is that it's got a little bit of movement. So I can play with it. I am thinking this would be super hard on an upright piece of furniture. So if I was looking to perhaps do this on maybe the doors of a cabinet per se, something like that, I might be inclined to put the piece on its back so I could adhere it down And I think probably for drying purposes, that would make the most sense too, so it wouldn't slide down the piece perhaps. Okay, so I am looking, and I would have liked maybe to have cut closer to his feet. You can see a little bit of where I did that. I'll show you that in a second. But you know what? That was kind of super easy. And I am in my head thinking of the possibility of adding this, like doing maybe some florals or some intricate designs that I don't want to have to hand paint onto some pieces of furniture, and giving a little bit of flexibility from not just being limited to the production transfers, so that some of my pieces can be a little bit unique and not so much, oh yeah, I've seen that transfer 50 million times. It's a popular one. Everyone seems to love it, you know, so all furniture designers use that one. Okay. I think that I've mostly got him on there. Take a look. So he is adhered. You can see a little bit around the feet, mostly because this design had a little bit of shadowing down on his feet. So a couple of things. When you go to select your pattern, your design, and I went and I looked specifically for something that had a clear background, that didn't have a colored background, because the printer is going to print out the colored background and you'd end up with this square. So I looked for something that would have a clear background to try to begin with. Otherwise, I would want it to be maybe a decal that would cover the entire surface of the piece. One thing that I want to see is whether or not I can, once it's dry, sand out the edges a little bit so that they're not as noticeable perhaps. Whether roughing it up a little bit would let me distress the image a bit, which may mean I did an awesome job in putting the decal on, and then I'm going to play with it once it's dry and completely mess it up at that stage. But again, rather do it on a board like this. As cute as it is, it's kind of cute as a button, to tell you the truth. I kind of like, I like the image and the vibrancy of it. But yeah, that wasn't too bad. I will say this, in the water bath, when it curled up on itself, yeah, definitely get your hand in there and flatten it out, because what's going to happen is that decal is going to release from that paper backing, and if it's all curled up, it's going to curl in on itself, and I'm not sure it's going to be super easy to do it. It truly is like saran wrap thin. So if you've ever had your cling film kind of stick on itself and you're trying to peel it apart, this is not as tough as that. So it would be pretty easy, I would think, to tear your decal. So you want it to lay out flat in your water and then slide it off. So if you were going to be doing multiples of this on one piece, do one decal at a time so that you have complete control over it in the water dish. So you're not dealing with a bunch of them releasing and sliding all over. And I think once you lose control of that, you're out of luck. So yeah, so here's what we're going to be doing now is, hey, nothing for 2 to 3 hours. It's going to dry, and then I'm going to see how it looks, how it feels. I'll probably try and distress the edges a little bit and see, but I'll post on the page how it looks finished, and I'll try and get a couple of little close-up pics. But so far in my head, that wasn't that bad. That was kind of fun, and I'm seeing a lot of possibilities for this to get completely different and unique looks rather than just relying solely on the transfers. I got the waterslide decal paper from Amazon. So this came 20 sheets, and I'm trying to think off the top of my head how much it was in Canadian dollars, maybe $15 to $20. Now, this one little decal, therefore, really wasn't that expensive. It would have been less expensive if I hadn't messed up the first 2 attempts. Got the got the rooster's head cut off and tail cut off, and all right, that's just me and technology. But yeah, got it from Amazon to try. I just read this post from someone once where they were talking about water slide decals that they were applying to their ceramics, and I started thinking about using it instead of some of the design transfers. So again, seems to work pretty good. And apart from some of the potential problems that you could run into that I said, I didn't have those so much, and messing up the feet, I was able to fix that on the board. So definitely though, because there was a lot of water that I wanted to be able to use to slide, seal your piece before you apply the decals so that you're able to slide it around a little bit with the water. That was helpful, and I'm going to give myself a pat on the back for thinking of that ahead of time, because that's the kind of thing normally I would have thought in retrospect and been out of luck. So again, that's him sitting pretty in the middle of the test board, and we'll just let him dry, and then I'll see about distressing him and see how the decal does with that, and I'll report back on that one too. But kind of a fun little project. And if you're looking for something maybe to do with the kids, grabbing a couple of mugs and plates from the dollar store, and using your printer to print out their name, or a cartoon character that they love, something like that, and personalizing some mugs or some plates for them would be a pretty cool little fun afternoon craft for you. So again, instructions are on the paper as to what the heck to do. Super easy. Even I didn't mess it up. And it gives you instructions for being able to bake your ceramics if you choose to do ceramics rather than on wood. But I was testing this out for future furniture pieces, and so far seems like a go. So you may be seeing me try this again on some furniture pieces in the future. Thanks for joining. I hope you guys are staying safe. Hope you're not getting crazy bored. I have no problem being locked in my house, quite honestly. It's where I'd prefer to be. Introvert, so perfectly happy to be here on my own. I could read all day. Certainly I do craft projects all the time, so I'm keeping busy. But my house is getting stuffed with all my projects, so thank goodness for porch pickups and people that are willing to come and pick it up from the porch. Anyway, take care. I just managed to pick up a small little hallway table today that I'll be coming back at you, and we'll do some fun painting on that in the coming days. And again, I'm thinking of doing some of the old sponge painting on that, so giving it a real old world look. Stay tuned for that one, and hang in there, folks. We're going to get through this. Take care.